Today, a gunman apprehended at Canberra Airport after firing shots, forcing the terminal to be evacuated. Also ahead, 2 women shot dead in Sydney in what police believe was a targeted attack.
This is an appalling attack on 2 women. They've lost their lives in a planned murder and assassination, really.
The government looks to address skills shortages with a boost to migration numbers. And runners cross the finish line in Sydney's City to Surf, which has returned after a 2-year pandemic hiatus. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Miriam Corowa. In breaking news this afternoon, a gunman has been arrested after opening fire at Canberra Airport. Reporter Antoinette Ford joins us now from Canberra Airport. Antoinette, what are the details there?
There's been a shooting at about 1:30 this afternoon here at the Canberra Airport near the security screening. So if you just look up to my left, we've actually been able to see the bullet holes in the glass here at the airport. At the moment, police say that no one has been injured and the suspect has been apprehended.
Antoinette, we can see obviously 3 gunshots have been fired into that glass there next to you. How many people have had to be evacuated?
There was a large-scale operation this afternoon following the gunshots to evacuate everyone from the airport. People who were arriving on flights was told to stay on the plane. They haven't been able to leave yet. And people who have been evacuated have been standing just behind me, where they've been waiting now for many hours to find out what happens next.
And Antoinette, how are people there now feeling about this incident and the long wait, obviously, for operations to resume?
It's very tense here at the airport. Naturally, people were quite worried. I spoke to a man before who had dropped his family off at the airport and then had heard what had happened and had come back to try work it out. One woman was inside the airport when it happened. She said she heard the gunshots. She didn't know what to do. She ran and she hid with others behind one of the information desks. So, of course, people are quite concerned, but the general census is that now that police are on the scene, they're starting to feel a bit better. Some Qantas staff were seen just outside the door crying. Many of the airport staff were seen huddling together, trying to console one another. So very tense scenes here.
Our reporter Antoinette Radford there with the details from Canberra Airport. And ABC investigative reporter Louise Milligan was at the airport at the time of the shooting. She joins us now from outside the airport. So Louise, you've obviously been among those evacuated. Just describe for us what happened.
Well, I was sitting in the Qantas lounge with, a bunch of other people, and I heard a couple of guys talking to the staff on the desk at the Qantas lounge, something to do with, a bunch of shots being fired. And I just thought that they were talking about somewhere else. Like I didn't for a minute think that it was anything to do with what was happening at Canberra Airport. And then a few minutes later, they asked us all to evacuate the lounge, and I didn't actually even put 2 and 2 together at the start. I didn't really know what was happening. So we all sort of trailed down out of the lounge and outside the airport where everyone was waiting. So everyone was just a bit sort of like confused, and then we noticed that there were these bullet holes / marks on the window. The flight crews and the ground staff, some of them were, quite sort of emotional. They were saying that they might not be actually working for the rest of the day. We've just heard from police who are going to do a briefing later on today for the media. I'm in a bit of a weird position because I'm kind of a passenger. My stuff's still on the plane, and then there are planes still on the tarmac with people in them.
So, go on, Louise, yeah.
The police are saying that they think that the flights will resume within, a couple of hours, like maybe this afternoon. So we're hopeful that, that we can get home. It's absolutely freezing here in Canberra, and we're all sort of like stuck out here. So it's been quite a while. So, but the main thing is that everyone is safe, and the man has been arrested, and hopefully, nothing else will happen. I think that the police and obviously airport staff are just trying to be as cautious as possible, because this is a pretty extraordinary circumstance and, really worrying, to be honest.
So, Louise, you're still waiting to be able to board your flight. You described there that you weren't actually even aware that the incident happened at the airport until you were given that indication to evacuate. Were there any scenes of panic? You've described some emotional scenes, obviously, for staff who've been working there, but how generally have people been handling the situation?
I think, because most people didn't really know what was going on. So I don't think people were panicking so much as just going, oh, what's going to happen here, and am I going to get home, and it's freezing, and, it's sort of disruptive, and everyone was just kind of hoping that, that something worse wasn't going to happen. I think everyone's been pretty calm about it. It's interesting in these circumstances, people are pretty calm and mature about it. So, but I think that the staff who actually witnessed it, they looked pretty upset, as they would be. It would be pretty scary.
Well, Louise Milligan, let's hope the worst is over and that you, of course, will be able to continue on your way. We do thank you so much for speaking with us and sharing with us your experience there today. Thank you.
Yeah, well, we're just all hoping that we actually get on the plane and get home to our loved ones. Thanks.
And ABC News presenter Dan Borscher is on the tarmac at Canberra Airport, and he joins us now over the phone. Dan, you were already on board an aeroplane when the shooting occurred. Just describe for us what was happening for you there.
Yeah, Miriam, good afternoon. Well, we'd landed just before 2 o'clock, about 10 or 15 minutes beforehand. And now with the information that's come out from ACT policing, we know that the incident happened about 1:30, so just shortly before that. So when we landed, the door was opened and we were told very quickly that there was a situation, that there was an incident unfolding, and that the captain said we'd need to do what he said was, quote, a security sweep. And that said the evacuation of the airport was underway. It was about another half an hour after that that the pilot actually came on and confirmed the incident for us. It's the first time that we'd got that information confirmed, other than, of course, the social media and the first-hand eyewitness accounts that you've been hearing, some of which this afternoon. And the pilot really gave us as much detail as was available then. We've got a little bit of that. I want to play that for you now.
The information that I've received from our operations is that there has been an incident right at the entrance to the security screening area in the departures area of the terminal, and some shots have been fired, gunshots. However, the information which is limited at the moment is that nobody is believed to have been injured in the incident.
Now, the pilot went on to say, quote, however, the Australian Federal Police are treating the area as a crime scene, so the area is actually cordoned off at the moment, which obviously prevents anyone from entering the terminal, and of course, which is exactly the scenes that we've been seeing this afternoon. Then there was another comment from the captain where he said, quote, the various agencies that are dealing with this and that are involved are at loggerheads, I believe, as to how to manage this, referring directly to the situation with flights like the one that I'm on right now, still sitting on the tarmac waiting to find out whether, in fact, we can disembark. If we could, where would we go? Because we're told that we can't go through the terminal at the moment. And, in fact, I was just speaking to another passenger that was sitting near me who's been travelling since 4 a.m. This morning. There is a sense, I think, of anticipation of people eager to find out what's happening and to get off the flight, of course. But this all comes as just so much more information that is coming through as the situation changes this afternoon.
It is a very fluid situation that you find yourself in there, Dan, and other passengers as well. How are people coping in general, and how are the crew helping people through this uncertain period there this afternoon?
Oh, and that's the key point, Mim, is that the crew have been just outstanding. They've been going and talking to people, checking in on everyone. They opened the doors so we're able to have some fresh air, even if we aren't allowed to disembark yet because of the situation. They've been giving water and snacks to people, and also just walking up and down the island, having a yarn with people and checking how everyone's doing. So I get the sense of the team here that the welfare is really crucial to them, of everyone that's on board. And of course, this comes as we're, waiting to get more information in the sense of exactly what's going to happen. People seem to be calm, the demeanour is to me, although I must say, Min, that when that comment was made by the captain about what the situation that seemed to be at loggerheads, there was a kind of size of exasperation across the cabin that I could hear, and you might have been able to pick up a little bit of that in that clip, but people just really wanting everyone to work together to get on with this. That's certainly what I'm hearing right now.
Well, let's hope you all get to where you need to be, safe and sound. Dan Borsche, thank you so much for speaking to us, and we do wish you well in getting home there this evening.
Thanks, Miriam.